actually, the reason I'm here is for 35 bucks and I can eat for a year. I think I'm going to join. Well, thank you all. I'm Steve Glenn. It's nice to be here. And it's interesting that when they said they were looking for a speaker to tell about the 10 mistakes, they looked to me, you know, when you're a professional at making mistakes. But actually, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Over my life, I've had about 46 businesses. So I like to start businesses. And let me tell you, the one thing that I've observed of myself in business, and a lot of you as business people will probably shake your head yes, is if you're in business as a small business, I've never started a business for the money. The reason I start a business is for the hunt. So what is the hunt? You tell me. What is the hunt for you?
The thrill of succeed.
Okay, the thrill of succeeding, taking an idea and make it successful. There's nothing more fulfilling as a business person than to be able to take an idea, a concept, and make it successful. And success often is measured by the profitability of it. It has to be profitable. But what I put down together is I started off with 10 big mistakes that entrepreneurs make. And I started my list, and I even added 4 today, didn't I, Paul? But actually started with 10, got to 12, and ended up with 17. So I've got a lot of ideas. And I'd like for you to throw out ideas as we go along here. I'd like this to kind of be a two-way discussion because that's the fun part of a business. Before I start, I will tell you how I got started 25 years ago. This is very interesting when I look back. 25 years ago, there was no Travelocity, there was no Facebook. Guess how a secretary made a letter or a document? Anybody know? A typewriter. We started our business and we walked around to companies in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we said, Miss Secretary, here is a computer. You can do your word processing on this computer. And oh, by the way, did you know you can also make your travel reservations on this same computer? 25 years ago, we were one of the first internet travel companies in the world. And that's how we got business. We literally gave them a free $2,500 computer to make their travel reservations. So we did that for dozens and dozens of companies. And that was fun because we were able to bring into the marketplace a product that could save them time and money. And with that, we grew and grew and grew. And even this year, the thing that's so fun about this business, this year, we anticipate our business will double. To me, I can't even fathom. It's going to double in a recession. So our business model today is even better than it was 25 years ago. So that's the fun part of the business. Now what I'm going to share with you are some of the ideas, some of the mistakes, and I'd like your suggestions along the way. My number one point as far as mistakes that entrepreneurs or business people make is they forget the most important thing in business, and that is cash is king. When you run out of cash, what do you have to do? Okay? When you run out of borrowing, what do you have to do? You close the door. Okay? For all the businesses that have closed in Lincoln and Nebraska and the U.S., what is their problem? They ran out of cash. Okay? I mean, it's when you think about that process, cash is king. Now, what entrepreneurs is, what do we often deal with our business from? Our heart or our head? I have an idea. It comes from the heart. I have a passion for it. So I drive and I drive and I drive, and our people in our company drive and drive and drive. Sometimes I forget to use my head, which says, oh, you better look about this. Look at cash flow. Look at receivables. Look at inventory. Look at all these things. So be very, very careful about, as an entrepreneur, make sure you have people in your company that are driven by their head more than their heart. The entrepreneur drives from here. Usually the CFO or the controller drives from here. So it's a beautiful balance when you can get people in your company that can make sure that you do and drive your business from that. Now, one of the things I noticed during this recession is to deal with cash flow, you have to deal with that far in advance. For example, I have some companies, and I didn't go to them. We know that in February we're going to have cash flow issues for a manufacturing company that I have. There's more bills coming in and not all the receivables come in. Guess when I approached the banker? This month? December? October? How about July? In July I went to the banker and I say, in February I'm going to have a cash flow problem. I need a line of credit. What does that banker think about me? Tell me, what does he think about me?
Smart.
He knows what his business is, okay? Is he more apt to loan me money in July, or if I go to him today and say, next week I need $200,000 because I have a cash flow problem? He's going to go, shouldn't this guy have known this 6 months ago? So realize that bankers are in the position. Are any bankers here? Come on, there's got to be a banker here somewhere. Bankers are not in a position to take risk. So you remove risk. And when you remove risk, they're more apt to loan you money. So it's very straightforward. Now, the other thing that I noticed related to finance is you really have to know the numbers. You have to know your numbers very well. For example, it's interesting when I tell our employees and I say, ladies and gentlemen, do you know when I come in and put the key in the door in the morning, we have to sell $75,000 in travel that day to pay to open the door. Okay? I know that number. I know if we don't sell $75,000, it was a bad day. I know when we sell $125,000, it was a good day. But the point is, you have to know the numbers. And you have to know them in the detail so that you can literally gauge and manage your business, which goes to my next point. A lot of people are precise in their numbers, but they're not accurate. Meaning, my wife's a perfect example. Okay, my wife started the business with me. She's an accountant. She has an accountant. She's a bean counter, and she'd be proud to tell you that too. She knows numbers, and they are exact. When she says you have $1,322.62, you have that. I guarantee you, you have that. But when I look through the monthly statements, and I can literally look through a monthly statement and in 60 seconds say there's something wrong here. Okay? And she'll say the numbers are accurate. Well, they are accurate, but there's something wrong. For example, a salary might be overstated or something on the balance sheet that I know. I'll know, for example, for a hardware store that I have, for example, I'll know the average margin is 42%, or what, I'm making these numbers up. 42%, let's say. And if I sell $100,000, what should my revenue be? $42,000. So if you look at an income statement and it doesn't show roughly $42,000, you got a problem. There's something that needs to be managed. Either your margins need to be managed or something. Your inventory went out the back door, something. And then when you look at expenses, you know it cost you $40,000 a month in expenses with salaries. So literally, in 10 seconds, you could say 100,000 equals 42,000 minus 40, there's $2,000 in profit. In 10 seconds, you know your business. You have to know your business, and don't forget about the financials. CPAs, any CPAs here? No CPAs. Make sure you get a good CPA, because they're going to help you set up good systems, and systems that are very precise and accurate. Okay. Now, number 3 I have. Don't let the world prevent you from seeing opportunity. This is amazing. Today, there is more opportunity. You know, everybody's down in the mouth about recession, about this and that. Guess what is happening today greater than has happened last year? You tell me.
Business starts.
Business starts. Perfect example. Why are there business starts? If you don't have a job, you're going to say, how do I make money? The best thing that ever happened to some people is they get fired. Why? They would never start a business. They would never leave the security of the job to start a business. The best thing that can happen to some people. I have a friend who 15 years ago got fired, and he hated the guy that fired him. And I'm thinking, he went and started his own business. Today, he hates the guy that fired him, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He started his own business. I mean, to me, so think about there is great opportunity, and also there's more change today than has ever happened in my lifetime. What is good about change?
Provides opportunity.
Opportunity. I'll tell you a story. A good friend of mine used to own a company, went into 15 years ago. Guys, you remember fax machines? Okay, we still have them. He said, Steve, why don't you start sending a fax out to all your customers once a week? And on that fax, tell them what are good deals and all this stuff. I said, wow, that's cool. So I started off and we got a fax machine that did 100 faxes. That was pretty cool, 100 of them all at once. And then we got a bigger fax machine that do 1,000. Then we got a computer and we could do 10,000. Well, of course, we moved that to email. Now, from that concept, we transitioned from fax to what? Email. And now we send 30,000 emails out every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. to customers. Literally, I can make the phone light up like a Christmas tree in 10 seconds. If you come into my office, you can say, light that phone up, and I can light it up. So it's the power of that. Now, we're transitioning. What would be the next obvious transition that he mentioned, and others, was Facebook, Twitter, other programs similar to that. But you have to be very careful, because what do you have to be careful of that medium? Overuse of it, okay? And you can't sell. What do you have to do? Educate. We're not in the selling business anymore. You're absolutely right. To do this business or any business, you're there to educate. You're there to coach. You're there to help service them and provide that information. So it's still a very, very exciting time in the area of marketing. Now, I'll tell you a story. I'm in the travel business, okay? Okay, now I'm in the travel business. Tell me really. I want you to will you be honest with me? You promise. Would you start a travel agency today with Expedia and Travelocity as your competitors? Yeah, I got an honest person here. Come on. No, you wouldn't. Because you listen to what the world says, don't you? Okay. Okay, our company this year will do anywhere from, what, 50 million? About $50 million. Okay, we're in the travel business. Do we compete with Expedia and Travelocity? We are in a different business model than them. We are in corporate travel management, which means we work with companies. If this man has a company with 500 people, he needs to manage those 500 people, because guess what the average traveler will do when they're in Toledo and they got to get back to Lincoln, Nebraska? Do they care if the company's paying for it? Do they care whether that ticket's 800 or 200? Do they really care? No. I got to get back and watch the kids play soccer. Okay? So he needs to manage that process. We have companies that spend $250,000. Their employees buy tickets that cost $250,000 more than the cheapest ticket. Okay? They need to manage it. We have companies that have $200,000 a year of unused tickets because a trip was canceled. They have an unused ticket to use for another trip that they've lost in a year because no one's managed that travel. A Travelocity doesn't do that. Expedia doesn't do that. So we have a niche. We have a business niche that we help companies that spend millions of dollars in travel be able to manage that travel. Now this year, this is the most exciting year in our company history, because our niche is, it just seems like our business model has exploded. We do, before Expedia announced that 0 transaction fees, we did that a year ago. Before Expedia, we were cheaper than Expedia, cheaper than Travelocity. My point is, if you have a business model and you have a niche, okay, you can make money in any industry today, but you have to be very focused. Now, hardware store. Be honest with me. She's honest with me. Would you start a hardware store 5 miles from Home Depot? Probably not. Okay? We have 3 hardware stores. Thanks, Robin. See ya. We have 3 hardware stores, and one of them's within 5 miles of Home Depot. Okay? Now you're saying you're crazy, but what is a hardware store? Our average transaction is $17.12. What are we? Are we a hardware store, or what are we? What? We're a convenience store. We happen to sell hardware. What do you think the average transaction at Home Depot is?
200.
Yeah, probably $200. You know, you build a house, you add an addition on there. We're in different businesses. But you guys all think Home Depot and True Value Hardware at 70th and A are in the same business. We're not, guys. We're in completely different businesses. When you come into our store, you know what somebody actually says? Hi, can I help you? And they'll walk you, and you want a screw or a bolt this big, it costs a nickel. You know what they do? They walk you and show you where it's at. We're in the service business. Okay, now, the other thing with retail, any retailers in here? Okay, what do you retail?
Restaurant.
Restaurant, okay. So on the retail, and this is Home Depot, this is Walmart, this is everything. Okay, what do they have up front? They're loss leaders and they're great prices. What do they have in back? Okay, if you're going to buy it, they have stuff that they're going to make their premium margin on, okay? So they want you to think low and buy high. So you're going to walk in the door, see all the great deals, then you're going to go back and you're going to get a toilet trap, okay? At Walmart, you'll probably pay 10% more than you will at our store because it's not a shopped item, okay? If it's a shopped item like a GE 60-watt light bulb, Walmart's going to put that baby at cost. They're going to probably put them at 89 cents for a 4-pack, okay? So it depends in retail, front of the store, back of the store, and the reality of it is they have a great brand and great buying power. I'm not diminishing that. They have a great institution of inventory control and other things. But you have to understand that there are different business models, and you can still be successful in a business model that has a perception of a category killer that you can't compete with. Okay? All right, I got to keep going faster here, okay? Everything stops and starts with sales. How many of you in sales? Okay, it really does, okay? That's how you get the dollar in the door. And once you get the dollar in the door, you can fix problems, you can cut your expenses, but you got to get, we found the more that we focus on the long term, take our profits and plow them back into sales, it helps us grow our company faster. Sometimes you can't do that, but I'd encourage you to consider that because it's a mistake we made. Now, another mistake I make personally, maybe many of you do too, is email is your best friend and it's your worst enemy. Now you got to be honest with me. She's my honest lady. How many hours a day do you stand working with email? 3? Wow. Okay, come on, guys. 2, 6 or 7? Yeah, now think about it. It's great communication, but it's also the worst thing because all we're doing is responding to a carbon copy somebody sent us or something. So we really, myself, time management wise, is a big mistake when I don't manage that email flow. And I've got to figure out a better way. Maybe some of you guys could coach me, but you know, maybe 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock is when I need to look at my email, and the rest of the day actually do work.
Yeah, that's actually what I found.
Is
a lot
it?
of the execs do. You know, they say they tell their team, I don't respond to email until 11 in the morning, and then I respond to it before I go home.
That's a great point. So I know that's something I'd like to work on.
Task it.
Yeah. So know the numbers. We talked about that. People, people, people. Obviously, the problems I've had are oftentimes I don't have the right person on the bus. How many of you read? What?
Good to great.
Good to Great. A lot of you have. Great book, huh? Okay. What's the whole point of the book? Matt? What?
Humility.
That. What does he talk about? People having the right what?
Right people, right position.
Right people, right positions, right people on the bus. Okay, the point is If you don't have, as a manager, our goal is to have the right people on the bus. And then once you get the right people on the bus, then put them in the right seat. Okay? But first we got to get the right people on the bus. And when I don't have the right people on the bus, it's pretty obvious. And now here's my downfall. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm in it for the hunt. What am I not good at? What would you guess I'm not good at?
Managing.
Aha! I hate to manage. I hate to tell people, do this, do that, do this, okay? Because I'm an idea guy, okay? So I hate to manage that process. So I've got to get people to do that are good at doing that are softer than me. I'm a guy that says, hey, that looks ugly. And the person that made it thinks he hates me. Well, no, it's just ugly, you know. But the point is, you need somebody that can say, well, I think we need to give that a second look, you know. Somebody that's a little softer than I am. I'm not really soft. I probably have too much of an edge to me. So, okay, now this is what I've learned over many years and mistakes that I've made many times. You make money with three things, and I'd like you to consider this very seriously. You leverage time, you leverage people, and you leverage money. If you're in real estate, I wish Robin was here. Who else is in real estate? Monty's here. You're here. How does a development make money? You leverage what? You usually borrow money, right? You leverage money over a period of time. So you leverage time and money, right? Now think about it. If you can break even for 15 years, make the payments on that $1 million development, what do you have in 15 years? $1 million, right? And plus inflation, probably have $2 million. Point is you've leveraged time and money. Now I own a manufacturing company. Guess what we make? You'll never guess this.
Velcro wallets, razors.
Pretty good. Rain gauges. We make rain gauges. We make jumbo rain gauges. They're this big. We got some that light up when you point your TV remote at night, and we got digital ones. We got little ones. We got all kinds of rain gauges. If you need a rain gauge, we got a rain gauge. Okay, but what's that?
Got a website for it?
Yeah, it's at headwindproducts.com. Yeah, go look at it. You can even buy it if you need some on there. It makes a great gift, okay? The illuminated gauge, man, you take your TV remote, you're sitting out there at night, and oh, I got 1.5 inches of rain, yeah. Okay, great. He's cut me that. But
He's trying to push you a little bit.
yeah. Now, with a manufacturing company, what am I leveraging? People with money, okay, capital, and people. I'm leveraging that. Okay. Now, if I'm a dentist, any dentists? No dentists, okay. So, if I'm a dentist and I'm a single dentist, what is a mistake the dentist does? He's a great dentist and a poor business person. Because if he was a good dentist, he would have other dentists in his business. He would build the business. The business isn't him, it's a business which he's leveraging other people. Okay? So the strength of a great dentist is to build a business, not to be a great dentist. Now, a single dentist, that's fine, but it's a job, it's not a business. And what you also find with professionals a lot, and I'm not saying all professionals, but what you find is a lot of dentists are great dentists and not good business people. A lot of any chiropractors. Okay, a lot of chiropractors are good chiropractors and not business people. A lot of doctors are great doctors and what? You know, who'd want to mess with all that paper? You know, that'd be the same way. So my point is, look at the forest, build your business focused on the forest, and let your people on your bus focus on the trees with that. All right. Buy from people you know and trust. The one thing I thought of when I got into this business is I said, okay, I lived here in Pawnee City, went to school in Nebraska, went to Arizona and managed the Developers Association, went to California, then we moved back. I went to the library. Get this is a kick. I went to the library and I found a book. And the book was called How to Start a Travel Agency. Can you believe it? How to Start a Travel Agency. I read the book and I started a travel agency 25 years ago. I told that to the library lady yesterday and she just about fell off her chair. So we did the presentation and I checked the book back in, started the company. So my point is that
Just like that?
what?
Just like that?
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Well, now all you have to do is Wikipedia it.
But the one thing the reason I started an agency was, and think through this with me, okay? A service business, does it take a lot of capital?
No.
I didn't have a lot of capital, okay? Do you require any inventory? No inventory. Okay, this was back in the 80s. The ag economy was kind of in a recession, okay? Was it geographically bound, meaning I could only do business here? Okay, think about that. So I started looking at this book saying, I don't have a lot of capital. I sure hate inventory because, you know, that's money. And I can sell in London as easy as I can in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I did that, and then I leveraged and I said, and people like to buy from people they know and trust. Don't ever underestimate that. Now I'm going to show you something right here. The most powerful thing I can do to all of you, the most powerful thing I can do tonight is hand him my business card. Because once I hand him my business card, is he more likely to do business with me? Would you be?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know who you are.
He knows who I am. I'm a real person.
Branded yourself.
I brand myself now. Let's say he takes a trip to Mexico, or he takes a trip to Mexico, and something wrong happens. What do you do if you bought that from Expedia? Kick yourself. What does he do if he bought it from me?
Call Steve.
He probably comes in my front door and says, Steve, you screwed up. Fix it. And you know what I got to do? I screwed up. I better fix it. See, in today's impersonal world, there's a lot of power in that. Tremendous amount of power. And all of you in your businesses, think about the power of networking. This is a great group here, and you can get a lot of business, I'm sure, and ideas out of this group. So Matt and company, Kevin and the group, congratulations. Now, search hard to find problems, because there's going to be a lot of problems. What I'd encourage you all to do, and one of the mistakes that I make, is when you have a mad customer, what do we all tend to do? Come on. Ignore them. Do we really want to talk to a person that's inflamed at us? Okay, we really don't. We want to try to avoid that with everything we can. So, but what we have found, and the mistakes that we've made in the past, have been to try to avoid that. The most important thing we can do is to call or touch or meet with that person and listen to them, seriously listen to them, provide the empathy, and then try to find a method to try to fix it. You know, if you do that, you beat 99% of most companies out there. I'll tell you a little story. We have a call system on our phone, and it tells us if we missed a call. It's called, when a phone call drops off, what do they call that? Abandoned call. Okay? So I get a list every day, and I look at it, and I'll say, here's somebody tried for 3 seconds to call our office. Well, obviously, you know, that's like 1 ring or less. So I pick up the phone and I call him, and I said, hi, I'm Steve Glenn with Executive Travel, and I saw that you tried to call our company and weren't successful, and I want to apologize for that. Okay? Now, what do you think that person thought? Wow! These people not only care about my business, they care about when I can't get through, you know, and the power of that. So the one thing and one mistake a lot of people make is you try to avoid the upset person, when in fact, once you do that, they actually become a better person. Have you ever heard the Nordstrom story? You know, you can return anything to Nordstrom's. Once they returned a set of tires to Nordstrom's, said they were bad, needed to return them. Nordstrom's doesn't sell tires. Nordstrom's took the tires back. refunded their money. Okay? Guess what? Do you think that customer even cared? Who was their best customer for the next 20 years? That customer. So point is try to deal with mad customers. And I've got about 2 minutes left. Okay, business plans. You've got it. The first thing you have to do when you build your business plan is cut your revenues in half and double your expenses. And I've done that more business plans, and you're going to be surprised. But always do a business plan. One year we had a $12 million budget, and I missed it by $127. Just because you'll be surprised when you put a business plan together, you tend to manage to it. And I encourage you to do that. Number 13. Speed kills. The advantage all of us in this room have today is we are banana boats dealing with battleships. Who are the battleships of the world that are dying? You know them. You've seen them in the Wall Street Journal. Who are the battleships? AT&T. Who's another battleship? Okay, Harley. Who's another battleship as GM? Who's another battleship? What? Yeah. You've got all these giant companies, and they cannot change fast enough to deal with the world around them. Guess what? A small company like I can change the whole company in 24 hours. Speed kills. Okay, even in the football field, speed kills. I've got about 20 seconds. So, my most difficult problem, the biggest mistake I make, is I don't stay focused. Can you believe that?
No.
Okay. Paul works with me. Paul's the president of Executive Travel, and his biggest problem is keeping me on task and focused on the things that we need to get done, because I see this and it's a great idea. I see this, it's a great idea. The biggest problem you probably have is the same thing, is staying on task. And then I'd encourage you to look, as we talked about the email, and I'll stop with this. I've got more and more to talk about, but is when you are marketing, any advertising companies in here? Okay. I can't afford to buy TV, so I'm a guerrilla marketer. What does that mean?
Twitter.
I'll Twitter, we'll do Facebook, we'll do email, we'll do the stuff that is, boom, target, just like that. And the more database marketing I can do. So if I know that you're in a demographic of 30 to 39 and you have kids and your house costs $222,000, and from all that information, I can know exactly what to sell you. I really do, okay? But I can put that on TV, and out of the 70,000 people that watch TV, there might be 30 that are going to hit me. So I'm paying for 70,000 and getting 30. So I'm a guerrilla marketer. That doesn't mean that radio and TV aren't good. There's a lot of practical applications, but I'm just a guerrilla guy by nature as far as marketing is concerned. So with that, can I answer some questions? Can I go ahead and answer questions? Sorry I've rambled on. I love to talk about business, and I'd sure love to hear some of your comments and suggestions, and I learn as much from you as anything.